discuss certain topics in depth with all sorts of spoilers. I'm Meg Turney.
I'm Philip DeFranco.
I'm Steve Zaragoza.
This week we're talking about The Last of Us from Naughty Dog. We did one on Bioshock Infinite, so my advice to you, if you have not played it, go play it, and then watch this video, because we're going to spoil some shills.
And you bought this, a PS3 specifically for this game?
Yes, I had one in college, and I didn't have one when I came back out here, and I was like, man, Last of Us is coming out. I never got to play Uncharted 3. Doing it.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so where do we start? Do we start at the end?
No, let's start at the beginning with that
Okay.
opening scene.
Okay, because that's
all the feels.
People talk about how it's like the saddest intro to a game ever.
Well, when you actually, so the reason you're able, I think, to care about the little girl who gets shot, hey, welcome to spoiler alert, who gets shot is because you get to play her, and you're alone, and everything's scary, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you see your dad just come in, and he's like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, you run away from the neighbors who are about to eat us.
And then he kills them right there.
Yeah, right in front of her. And she goes, Daddy, you killed those people. Like, it's like exactly what a child would say.
Right.
It really got me because it takes place, the opening scene, right outside of Austin. So they're like arguing about which streets to take, the road signs they pass. Those are all things I'm intimately familiar with. And they get to like the highway where they're going towards San Antonio, and I'm like, it's gonna be clogged. Boom, it's clogged. I'm like,
It's funny though that you mentioned that you feel really bad for the little girl because you take control of her.
Totally.
Like that's totally why. And because you think about movies, there is that certain aspect of humanity where we're like, we watch a movie and you're like, why should I care about these people that are being developed as characters that I should care about or I can relate to? But there is that aspect of humanity where you're just like, I don't want to see humans die or be depressed or despair.
Then the thing is, if it was a movie, would we have cared about the little girl as much?
That's the thing. I mean, sadly we've seen kids die in movies and TV shows in real life. But I mean, and it is really sad. But like in movies, you're like, I don't know, I didn't get to know this character, so it sucks for the people. But like in the game, you're right. You're in control of it. There's more of a connection.
The thing is, I've kind of felt like overall the game, people were just tweeting me stuff like, oh, that opening scene, so I knew something was coming, and that kind of ruined it for me. But also I knew she couldn't have lasted, because I was like, it's gotta be Joel and Ellie. So even with Tess, I was like, Tess gotta go, because she's not the main two characters I know I'm gonna be playing.
Yeah, but I tried to read absolutely nothing about the game. I tried to watch 0 trailers. I watched a couple of the trailers just to get excited, but I didn't want to know much about the game at all. So even when I picked up the game, I was still kind of like very not sure what was gonna happen. So I wasn't, and again, like, you were talking about how, like, the whole time you were like, man, I kind of predicted this, I tried to turn off my prediction radar completely while I played this game.
But even, like, when you knew that that she was going to go, like, the people that were going to go, it almost didn't take away from it because of the way they went out.
Yeah.
Right? Because when the little girl dies in the beginning, it totally makes sense that he was like, okay, I'm going to no longer be a human being. And you understand why for probably 20 years, or at least 10 of them, he was a complete shit person.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. He's a total asshole, basically,
But it seemed like those were the only people that survived.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
and then even like when Tess goes out and she's like, don't make this hard on me. And then they kind of like, they really don't have a final moment. There's no hug. There's no nothing. Like, that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
Like, it makes it even more. But I was talking to Steve today. The scene that got me the hardest was when Ellie and Joel fight about, he says, you're sure as hell not my daughter. And I'm definitely not your father. Waterworks, because I had so many daddy issues growing up. I'm like, he just wants you to be a dad.
and how they progress. How he's like, you're essentially a shipment.
Yeah.
You're not even human. And then I mean, there is something that's like that you slowly see him become like, oh, I love this person, and it's actually terrible that it's happening, especially to the end, because he's almost even angry at Tess when she gets bit. He's like, how could you let this happen?
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. No. Oh God.
Yeah,
and
he's that's the thing. He's kind of this character that like you can't immediately relate to like right away, but then you start to see the humanity in him later on. But you're right. He's totally like, he's pretty much just a cold asshole, and I guess that's how you survive in that world.
Yeah, but you have to be that way. I mean, even when he meets up with Tommy, he's like cold toward Tommy, and him and Tommy really don't see eye to eye. But toward the end, he realizes the importance of family. And Steve and I are talking. I think he sees that Tommy has a wife, and he's like sort of normal, and he resents that at first. But then he comes around at the end. I love when him and Ellie are going through the forest, and he's like, "Did I ever tell you Sarah and I used to take hikes like this?" And I was like, "Yeah."
So we have to talk about how beautiful the game is.
Yes.
It's probably one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. And I played a lot of PC games on like my brother like has this souped up PC and he's playing Crysis on the biggest, craziest settings. And those are great games. But as far as the PS3 current gen consoles go, I think this is one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. Scenery, music, acting, motion capture across the board. Like just amazing graphics, everything.
Oh, totally.
It was very pretty. Did either of you have any real bugs?
See, you had bugs. I had 0 bugs.
Crazy bugs.
Really?
And I did the digital download, which is what a lot of people are tweeting me and saying that's probably where they came from.
Interesting.
I would have bugs literally. So for instance, I went through this whole thing. You went through like a checkpoint, you went through a building, you jump off the side of the building, and you go to that part where the hotel, where you have to swim, and the guys leave a plank. So I got to that water scene, no guys, no plank. I'm like, oh, cool, it's just a scene. I'm wandering around. I have the damn platform. Ellie won't get on the platform. I'm like, I'm missing something. I can't figure out what it is.
That's so
So I
interesting.
restart the encounter. I had to start all the way back to the checkpoint, which is fucking annoying. I just sprinted through. By the way, you can just do that in this game if you don't want to fight people.
You
just
can kind
sprint.
of do anything, yeah.
And then when I got there, it tripped the cutscene. So I like missed a cutscene and
wow.
was stuck.
Interesting, yeah.
Twice that happened to me.
So you're saying it might be because you didn't have the disc version, you had the
Right, because I had the
version.
downloaded version. Also, I'd have glitches where, for instance, during the sniper portion of the game, where you're like taking out hunters, if the hunters get close enough to Ellie, it shows a cutscene of them just like smashing her face into a car.
Really?
Yeah, if
Oh.
you don't snipe them fast enough,
Oh,
they
did
kill
you snipe
Ellie.
Well, I got him, yeah.
Yeah, Will.
Sorry.
So it's no. But the cutscene happened and it was just all green, like a whole green field, and Hunter and Ellie, and he just like smashes her face into nothing, and then she like falls over in
Oops.
like this green chroma
Again.
key field. Yeah, it was very weird.
It's weird. I've heard, and I have heard there's like AI bugs here and there for some people. I don't understand. Like, I had a flawless game.
Yeah,
from start to
Yeah,
finish.
flawless.
I posted a Vine actually where Henry in the sewers trapped me in a corner and I couldn't go anywhere. I was like doing this. I was trying to punch him. I couldn't go anywhere.
Henry and the Kid, for me, that was probably one of the, because I know we were going to talk about like most important and like least important. Like I found that to be like the least.
Oh,
like,
really?
Didn't really matter.
Henry and Sam? I think that I was surprised by how much the scene of Sam picking up like the Gundam and Henry being like, no, what did I say? And Sam just kind of like dejectedly dropping. I cried. I literally teared up and like had a tear come down because he was just like.
For me, it was just like, that was one of the ones where you said you were like predicting things. I was like, okay, they're going to die and or turn on us or leave us.
Yeah, no. I was like, Sam, when Ellie comes into the room and Sam's like, I better messing up. I was like, you gotta be bit. You gotta be an asshole right now because you got bit. So I felt like it was predictable, but I still really felt for Sam.
Well, I felt the same way about, like, because towards the whole end of the game, like, maybe when you're 90% completed the game, you start getting the lines from Ellie, like, maybe you can teach me how to swim someday. And it's like, maybe you could, like, we're gonna, like, he's like, I'm gonna teach you how to play guitar. And I'm thinking, this is leading to some pretty, corny shit.
Well, no,
Like,
I mean, it started turning into him saying that.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
her being like, meh.
Yeah.
Because you don't realize until like, especially near the end of the game, that she knows what has to happen.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
the fact that she will have
Did
to
you
die.
get that impression? You got that impression?
like,
Yeah,
she was
well,
totally
like at
on
the end when
board.
she's like, "Promise me you're not lying." She's saying, "Promise me that I couldn't have saved humanity," because she would sacrifice herself. And the leader of the Fireflies is right. She absolutely, if Ellie was given the choice, would have sacrificed.
But I didn't get
for-
that. But I got it then. But I didn't get it before because they were in that part with the giraffes, which is very beautiful and emotional. And I enjoyed it very much. When he was like, "We can turn around and go back,"
Yeah, but she wanted to do it. She goes,
She
"No,
wanted to.
we have to go."
I mean, but he gave her the choice there to
Right.
be like that. To me, it seemed like, I don't know, she could have gone both ways there. But I guess you're right. She was really.
She was really adamant that they
No,
keep
yeah,
going.
she wanted to save it, and that's what I mean. Is like normally it's like in a video game or in a movie, like love is the everlasting like savior. But in this game, it's literally, it could be the reason that humanity does not get saved is because this guy was like, I love this girl, she reminds me of my daughter, and because of that, a cure that maybe could have happened will not happen. Now, also, if you go through the game and like you actually like pick up things and you listen to things, you know they've tested it before.
Yeah, you've
Right.
heard.
There is something that I think that's something special about her compared to the other cases, but for the most part, they've tested it before
Yeah.
and have not saved people.
Well, even
Yeah,
the
and there's-
girl,
yeah,
the
go
leader of the Fireflies, was kind of like, this is our last hope, basically. Like,
Yeah.
she's like very special. We've never come across anyone like this. So.
But I felt like, why sacrifice Ellie if even in, like, you pick up the tape recorder of the surgeon, and he's like, we have to figure out a way to recreate this. But it's not like, hey, we know what we're going to do when we harvest this brain.
Still an experiment.
So I'm not willing. I am perfectly okay with Joel having been selfish and possibly damning humanity because he likes Ellie so much.
Well, and I usually go the positive route too with these kind of games, and like it's hard for me to be the bad guy and stuff like that. But in this point, like I was playing the game with Sarah too, and we both kind of felt the same way. There was that time in the game where the leader of the Fireflies, that girl, was like, this is humanity's chance to take control of our destiny. With the girl being able to create the cure. But all I was thinking was like, well, maybe it's not up to us to create our destiny. Maybe we were meant to be wiped out by this thing. And in that case, with Joel being selfish and taking Ellie and lying to her, it seems to me like he's going to live out that life he was meant to live. His destiny was to spend some life with this girl and with his family, and then just live out until he dies.
And murder everybody.
And murder everybody, yeah.
Every single
the thing
person.
is, if Ellie was born with this immunity, who's to say we couldn't evolve into all having that?
Or who's to say there isn't another one like Ellie somewhere? Yeah, this is just one part of the world, It's like,
also, I shot the doctor and all of his nurses, so nobody's gonna be there.
Really?
You did the nurses as well?
Really?
I shot the doctor, and then the nurses both like back up, and I was like, nah, bitch, you gotta go, and you gotta go. Yeah, I shot the doctor.
Oh, because I stabbed him.
I shot
the doctor, and then the nurses both back up and they put their hands up, and one of them crawls under like a thing, and I killed both of them.
Okay, I left them alive. I just killed the doctor because he had a knife.
Here's the thing: they know she's special. There are people who know she's special could come after her again.
That's true.
That makes sense. Okay, so I guess I talked about my least favorite or least memorable because honestly, this is such a fucking great game.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
Any like moments that you were like, I didn't care, or was there anything? Because my things are like the Henry guy, Henry and the kid.
I guess now that I think
replaceable.
about it.
The dude at the beginning, Bill. I did not care for Bill. Bill got me killed so many goddamn times.
Bill was cool.
Bill was just like, hey, let's be quiet.
Did you pick up the note from Bill's friend?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love the suicide note.
He's like, well then fuck you too, man. Forget about you.
I didn't know you could give it to him. I love it.
You didn't know you could give it to him? You can give it to him. Yeah. You can walk over to him and give it to him, and then he reads it and he's like, I fucking knew it. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. It was amazing.
I love it. He's like, I got the battery and I hate you, piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. What about Ish? Did you read Ish's letters?
Yep. Well,
Those were great.
one was like waiting for Ish, and then the other one was like, well, we got out. We ain't going back for anybody.
Well, and then when you leave the sewers and you go into the housing area,
that's from Ish's letter.
Yeah. And there's this guy that's like, I'm thinking of joining this family, this community. I don't know. It's crazy. It's like this whole other thing going on.
Best moment in the game for me was when you take over for Ellie. When you are
loved it.
Because the kills are like way more emotional. They're crazier.
And did it seem easier to kill to you? Like, did it seem you had more control over the rifle with her? We were talking about this.
I don't know. I wouldn't say anything like that. I know that for the most part, I did stealth stuff, so I'd distract people and then just go like fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But when you kill with her, it's like the craziest, scariest thing because you're like, oh shit, this girl like grew up in this world and she's been with this guy. And then there is that like. That weird scene where the fucking place is on fire.
Yeah, and the guy, here's me and Steve were talking about, the way to me that it reads when Joel comes to get her, when she said he was gonna, I thought she was implying he was gonna touch her in an inappropriate way. Like a rapey. Yeah.
I thought rape.
Like rape. But the guy doesn't, I was wondering if maybe there's a scene they cut short because it was too hard to watch, but I felt like he didn't do anything that was rapey at that point.
I never got the rape vibe from him.
They say like, he's or she is his new pet and he like kind of gets like he uses like some Swedish not Swedish but Sweetish language and I was like, oh shit, like he's gonna like have sex with this girl.
All I ever got out of it was that he was just crazy and he was gonna eat her. Like just like everybody.
Well, they were doing. I think they were doing human stuff.
Yeah. They were eating.
There was like meat lockers.
Yeah,
with
creepy people on it. Yeah. I did like controlling her better. I thought I could shoot with the rifle better with Ellie.
That's what I thought
too.
She had
more control over it.
I love her with the arrow too. With the
okay. So I did arrow stuff a lot. Yeah.
That was great.
The only thing, it's funny that you say you did stealth a lot because whenever I tried to run a gun, that's the only major gripe I have with this game. I could blast somebody from me to Steve directly in the nose with a shotgun, and they'd be like, oh. Dun 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 dun, and I'll be like, fucking die! I just blasted you in the face.
I was thinking it might be because they had armor, A, or B. You didn't. Did you upgrade your power on your shotgun?
I upgraded everything I could on my shotgun.
Okay.
And not like all the way because I couldn't, but like everything had been upgraded. It was like there were, and then sometimes it would like. Why are you doing that? Sometimes they would be blown in half, and other times they'd be like, ow! pow, boom, 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 and I'd be like, you motherfucker.
I did also like the inclusion of enemies that dealt regular damage, and then the dudes that
the clickers.
the clickers, because it totally made everything like tense. Because at any moment, one of those, and you're like, no.
And there's no defense.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do.
You're like randomly, like, yes, I got an axe that I upgraded into 1 kill.
Yeah. Or like you gotta
kill.
save your shivs, man. It was all about shivs towards the end of the
Yeah.
game. I gotta save those shivs, especially for the secret rooms.
The
and stuff
rooms,
like that.
they're always worth it.
Yeah,
always worth it.
So I was gonna ask you guys individually this, but and I know this from Meg, but I want to get it out there. Stealth or run and gun is your preferred method of going through the
Totally
game,
stealth.
right?
Run and gun.
But see, I liked stealth a lot because it made the game like a little longer for me too, and it felt very tense. Like most of the battles.
Well, also if you're playing on like, because I want to go through again on Survivor.
Yeah.
Like if you're running and gunning, then you're just gonna.
You're
like,
gonna die.
Well, you're gonna die, and also you're gonna have like nothing, and you're gonna have to like beat people to death with bricks.
Well, that's the thing is like there were places where you could run and gun. There were places where you absolutely could
Well,
not
the
run and gun.
final,
No
like when you're in the
matter-
hospital,
Yep.
there's no way to run and gun.
No way.
Those like
Oh,
SWAT
as
guys.
soon as they have like fucking automatic weapons,
Dude,
I was
that
like,
was
are
crazy.
you serious?
You know what I learned by the time I got there though, which I thought was amazing? I was like, this makes sense. This game is like real life. So you collect those bricks and bottles and shit, and so I had like one SWAT guy left, and anytime like it was almost like he predicted when I was gonna pop up because he starts firing instantly. So I'm like, fuck, how am I gonna get this guy? And then I was like, this is perfect. So I throw a bottle like next to him, and he goes, what was that? And then I pop up and blast headshot. Amazing, perfect. You just distract him.
What I did is, yes, they know when you're gonna pop up, so I pop up and pop back down, and then he would start shooting, and as soon as he stopped, I popped back
reload,
up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that you're right. Like when I got to that section, you said at the end you took your time. That was one where I was like, at first I tried to run a gun, then I tried to sprint because I was so impatient. But then I was like, fine.
So this is a question we asked with BioShock Infinite, and then we can get to your Twitter question to close out. Would this be a game that you would want a prequel or sequel, or it's a gem that should remain untouched?
No, I want many more. I want
Really?
more. I want to see
Different stories.
Well, I've heard people say like, what if this is the origin story of Ellie, and the game, the series is all about Ellie, and we grow up with Ellie, and we get to this badass adult woman version of Ellie that's kind of like the leader of this new resistance in this world, which would be fantastic. I would love that. But also, you could totally do the other stories in the world, you know?
Okay.
You could make it a cool anthology.
Would you
like
want it though? Is the question. Or
I want more.
I mean, if it's done by the same guys, you could. But I don't know. I love it as a solo.
See, that's the thing is like I love Naughty Dog, but of the Uncharted games, and I know people will argue with me. I think Uncharted 2 is undoubtedly the best. I know a lot of people will
Have
say
you played
3.
the third one?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think 2 is the best for me.
I've never played the second, so I need
Oh,
to.
it's really good.
Okay.
But so Naughty Dog, but they're amazing. I mean, even 3 is an amazing game. It's just that I love this as a gym, and I kind of feel like BioShock Infinite, even though it was amazing, I don't want them to do any more.
I guess
So like I wanted, if they did any more, I wouldn't want to see Ellie anymore. I'd want it to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like that syndrome of like, do you want it? They've been saying they're making another Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 3 is going to happen, and you're like, do you want to see another Ghostbusters? You know, they're all old. Everyone's tired. You know.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is that they did such a good job of making you uncertain about the world and so invested in it that when you think that you're going to die, you think the main character is going to die for a good portion of the game, and then you're like, oh shit, he made it.
I know!
Especially with the rebarb or like whatever.
Dude, I thought he was done.
Dude,
I was like, that's
crazy.
it. He's done. And then it comes back and you're Ellie, and
I
I was
thought-
like,
and I'm like, this
Hey,
is
you already
all
watched
done.
the spoiler alert. I thought they were going to do Red Dead Redemption on this bitch. And I was like, no, don't do it. Anyway, so what was the Twitter question? That you
Okay,
wanted
well,
to go on?
actually, I had an even cooler question before we get to the Twitter question.
Even cooler?
Which could be really quick. And I asked this I asked Meg this earlier. So, game of the year between BioShock Infinite and Last of Us.
You're
So
not?
I'm not.
No?
I'm gonna
You're not
answer
gonna
it
pick?
because the easiest choice for me is BioShock Infinite, and the reason why is because we've seen the zombie thing, we've seen the survival thing, we've seen the Uncharted world before. It's a beautiful game. It's absolutely unprecedented. It's amazing. But with BioShock Infinite, you've created this whole world from the ground up that we've never seen before in a video game. All these themes we've never seen before in a video game. A story that's more compelling. I don't know. I honestly think the game of the year award goes to BioShock Infinite for me.
For me, it's a coin toss or a coin toss.
Yeah.
A coin toss.
Coin toss.
Blah.
It's a new thing. It means both of them win.
Yes.
I between the two, I have to say BioShock Infinite.
Yeah.
I felt like when I finished BioShock Infinite, I was just like,
Yeah, it felt more. I don't know. It just felt more personal to me for some reason. I don't know why.
The thing I would say is I enjoyed the gameplay mechanics of this more than Infinite.
Yeah.
That's
the
only thing. I mean, that's the thing. You're talking about games that like are on different levels that have different themes. Yeah. That's why I think it's a coin toss.
And I was telling Meg too, like the controls, the gameplay. It felt more satisfying killing people in Last of Us than BioShock Infinite. BioShock Infinite just felt like droves and droves of clones. Okay. In this game, it felt like these are real people, real AI coming at you, and like each person has a story, and I'm about to kill this guy to survive, and that felt more personal to me. But
desperation is what.
Exactly.
And I do feel like they did a better job of like fleshing out the minor characters. Like even hunters are like, "That's my friend you killed." Like they have families too, and even Joel says everyone has a family.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and when they're like, he's like, the reason I knew that they were gonna do that is that's what I would have done, and that's what we did in the past.
Yeah. He was like, I was a piece of shit too. It happened.
Okay, so Noah tweeted this at me as I said I beat the game last night. Personally, I think that the game got too much hype. There's no such thing as a perfect game. 50% insane action, 50% moving ladders.
Okay, I did want to call the game Joel moves shit.
But that's the thing. It's really smart. It's a great tweet.
It's true. It is. Joel moves a lot of shit. Ellie, dog paddle, do something. That bothered me.
Yeah.
But I said this with BioShock Infinite. I don't think there's a perfect game, but that was damn close. Even with bugs that broke the game for me, I still loved it.
Yeah.
I think the raft stuff kind of makes sense. Obviously, if you're gonna be like, bitch, it's the apocalypse. Learn to swim.
Yeah.
I know a pond where there's no zombies. Maybe
you
can learn to doggy paddle.
Well, and she was killing deer and conceivably skinning them and eating and knowing how to do that.
Yeah.
So why not fucking learn how to swim? For God's sake?
I will say the
lethal killer. Unless there's water.
Exactly.
I will say the physics on how you pulled the raft along in the water was perfect.
Most of the physics
really
in the
felt
game,
like this is exactly where this edge would go down. I would go too fast.
Yeah. I don't know, and that's the thing. It's funny because like it is a lot of moving shit, a lot of the same
stuff,
repetitive stuff. But I think that was really the only downer in the game for me. You said that some of the story elements were.
It was its version of puzzle solving.
Yeah, exactly.
It was.
I just feel like you have to kind of, if you're making this lengthy game with a journey, you're going on this adventure with these characters, you kind of have to throw in some of these like tedious things because I don't know, you're playing a game. You have to remember it's not a movie you're watching, even though it's very close.
Well,
to
also like in the real world, if you were going from one place to the other and you have a small child, you'd be like, okay, well I should probably set up this ladder or this plank and not just go, we should probably try and jump this.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll make it.
Yeah.
This
It'll
is
be
Assassin's
fun.
Creed? Yeah, we'll make it.
Yeah, exactly.
No problem. All right, well I think that's it, right?
Yeah, thanks guys so much. Let us know what you thought of the game in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Meg Turney.
I'm Philip DeFranco.
I'm Steve Zaragoza.
Literally 100 people are going to be able to watch this because it's so soon.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
soon.
it came out
It's for the
last
week.
Friday.
We did it for you.
Yeah, for you guys. For you that are crazy that beat it already.